So we're continuing with our 2023 MIVA Media Day, and now we're with McKendree. So we are with Francisco Comas, graduate libero, right? And
Yep.
Francisco, sorry, and Kevin. I'm going to probably butcher your name, so please forgive me. Shelly?
Yeah, Shuli. So like shoe and is so.
Okay, Shuli. Thank you. Sorry. So we'll start with you guys. And then if Nikki joins us, great. If not, no worries. All right, Francisco, you've been there for like 25 years now. So what has been the biggest memory that you're going to take away from your time in Lebanon?
So we actually figured out I've been here for half the program. It's about to be the 10-year anniversary. It's my 5th year. So definitely it's been growing with the team. I feel like when I got here, the team was kind of still starting to get going. I feel like now we're a pretty developed team, in the conference at least. So it's been nice being able to come up, getting better, kind of taking what the old guys brought and then teaching it to the younger guys. That's definitely been one of my favorite things. Now that I'm older, I'm able to help out the younger guys, teach them the ways, and kind of just set a new culture every year.
Kevin, I'll go with you next. You guys have a new assistant coach on your staff. Can you tell us a little bit about your new assistant coach?
Yeah, so it's Jorge. He's recently come from LMU, a team that we played last year. He's been through the program, so he knows kind of how Nikki likes to run practices and how to set a high bar for like our standards and how we should be playing. So it's going to be really good for him to be in the gym and help us out because he knows where we should be and he knows how like the system should run. So we're all really excited for the season with him because he's got a lot of volleyball knowledge, so he knows what he's doing, and we're all really excited.
Kevin, you look at your freshman season, you came on really strong, especially that second half. What have you now done in the off season and training camp to now take your game to that next level?
I just think it's just putting in like that extra time, a few more extra reps here and there. I know that over the summer I've been trying to play as much as possible. And then especially over this, couple week break, doing the same thing. I know that in the beginning part of the season, like I kind of struggled with hitting a little bit, but I think I started to figure that out near the back end, and definitely working on that over this past couple months have been really beneficial. And I'm looking forward to how it's going to play out over the season.
I'll go next again. You guys obviously graduated a lot of key contributors from last year. How do you replace that production?
Initially, I thought it was going to be very tough, but all the production didn't come without a good B-side. I feel like any of the guys that are coming from the B-side now to our starting side definitely helped us a lot. So it's been nice having them with a lot of experience because they were the ones that trained us. They were our scout team. They pushed us a lot. So now it's nice to see them transition to the starter side. And it's going to be interesting to see the guys with experience, like Kevin and I, try and help out those without experience.
So going off that then, who's maybe the one or two players that volleyball fans didn't get to see a lot of last season on your team, but you think, hey, we're going to be knowing their names by the end of the year?
I think the two guys that I'd probably say like the three guys that we're looking forward to playing with this year and that a lot of people are probably going to get to know is Tyler Polson, Kyle Wilson, and Nikos Zadakis, I think. He's got a tough Greek last name, so it's kind of hard to pronounce sometimes, but they're definitely going to be able to step up this year. And, I'm looking forward to see them do a really good job. So
they've been in our gym for a few years now, so they definitely know how we roll. They know how the culture goes. So it'll be interesting to see how they mix in with the guys that have already been in the lineup for a few years.
Well, Francisco, I want to ask you as we. Hey, Nikki.
I made it.
Francisco, I want to ask you. You start off your season at BYU. What does that match mean for you going back there, especially 3-4 years ago? You were a part of that team that upset BYU. Now you're going back to the place where you pulled off that upset.
We're honestly headed back with the same expectation. I think that when we were there my freshman year, they definitely overlooked us. And I think we're going back to the same mentality. They're thinking we're in a rebuild year, but I think we definitely go there. And we can definitely knock them down. Hopefully go 2-0 that first weekend, Nothing less than that.
I really appreciate the confidence. I see the head shake over there.
Nikki, just to get your initial thoughts, we had an opportunity to talk to the players a little bit, but what are you seeing from this team as we gear up for 2023, and what can fans expect when they see the Bearcats on the court?
Ultimately, they're not a new young group, but I kind of walked in. Again, I text Jonathan. I'm saying hey, I was in a car accident, so I made it successfully. They're not a young group. Ultimately, Shuli's young, but
I'm not that young.
He's kind of young, but ultimately, these guys have been chomping at the bits. They're redshirt juniors, redshirt sophomores, things like that, where they just haven't had the court experience, but they've been playing against that core group of guys that have graduated every year, day in, day out. That's just they're the ones that prepared them for us as a program to transition this way. So they're kind of the backbone of where we got started, ultimately, of getting beat up every day, not necessarily getting the looks on the court that they've had, because we've had these guys of Patrick and Ethan and Ryan and playing for 4 or 5 years and 6 years. But now it's their time to shine. And I definitely have said to a few of them, you should be taking this personally, because you have been, working hard, keeping your head down, grinding to get a shot. And maybe you had small roles, but now it's your time to make a name for yourself. No one knows you. No one knows your name. No one knows. They're going to be like, hey, where's Ethan Carroll? He's been here for 12 years. Why is he not here anymore? So like you said, Nikos and Kyle and Tyler. Tyler has been our serving sub for ultimately the past 2 to 3 years, and he's a really good setter. And it's now people are like, who is this guy? But he's also a redshirt junior, and he's 21, 22 years old. So this is a good showcase for them to, put a stamp on their own personal name.
I'm going to go with the curveball question for Francisco and Kevin. Francisco, correct me if I'm incorrect. You're a White Sox fan, right? Or are you Cubs fan?
I'm more of a Cubs fan.
Cubs fan? What about you, Kevin?
Yeah, I'd probably say the Cubs too.
Okay, so I'm asking this question for Brandon. What do you think of the Cody Bellinger signing?
I think it's good, man. I was pretty upset when we didn't trade Contreras at the deadline. So it's nice to see that the front office is finally doing something. It's been a pretty few disappointing years after the World Series. So hopefully we're on the come up.
Do we have any other questions?
Yeah. So question for Nikki, and I want to just kind of get your thoughts in terms of the program and the growth you can continue to see from it. From a media standpoint, you all would pull off big wins, and it would be, this is a huge upset. Now it's almost become that expectation that you're going to have big wins every single season, knockoff teams. I want to ask from you, how do you see this program continuing to grow, and what do you think is the next step you want to see this program take?
I would like it to stop being a shock when we have big wins every year. I will share the similar sentiment as Francisco, where obviously BYU is a great team, but it's not. The phrase I use all the time is this isn't the Appy State game. This isn't, we're getting a $7 million signing bonus for Marshall to come and beat Notre Dame. That's fine. We're not that team anymore. And this is our 10-year anniversary of the program being started. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears here. A lot of great coaches that came through the program. A lot of great players come through the program. It shouldn't be a shock anymore. I get the name brand recognition as far as we aren't the University of Michigan or we aren't the Michigan State, whatever, but we should be respected in the community enough that we've reached several milestones of, like, we've been a ranked opponent, we've beat great teams. Pepperdine was a top 10 team last year. We swept them at home. That shouldn't be looked at as a fluke, but we should be respected that this team is also working equally as hard. We're getting good recruits. We're getting great, not even just good recruits, great recruits that fit our culture. So maybe not the Fab 50 kids, but they grind. They come here for a reason. They come here to make a statement, make a name. And it should be transitioning upward that way instead of, oh, it's a shock. So when someone had an off night, the MIVA play, everybody in the MIVA is great. Everyone that we have on our schedule is great. We're not going to go in overlooking anyone, but it's also not the talk in the gym of saying, maybe we should just go out and try hard because we're not going to win anyway. That's never been the talk anyway. Even in year one, when we were 8-26, we're going to prepare just as hard for BYU as we would for Missouri S&T, who is a first-year program. So you got to give respect to get it, and that's what I'm hoping that our opponents look at us as.
The final question we'll go to Brandon. Go ahead, Brandon.
Coach, you can keep this as quick or as long as you want. I kind of just like to check in with the coaches and kind of just get their pulse on their idea of serving and service errors and how that plays in the men's game and your philosophy and what you're trying to kind of instill in your players as well.
We are not an ace or error team. In the past, probably 2 or 3 seasons, we've been, in 2020, we're the best blocking team in the country. Last year, we were one of the best defensive teams. That's kind of been our MO of blocking and defense. We don't need to go bombs away. Ultimately, our whole objective is just, can we get the team out of system? Because ultimately, we're going to touch the ball. We're going to either dig it, defend it, or we're going to get a block touch. And that just changes our whole blocking strategy of, like, we're not going to funnel, or obviously we got 2 really great defenders sitting here. But if we can get a block touch or we can get a positive setup where we can get something, we're going to defend and work on our trans game. So I think ace or error is kind of going into a trend of the past. I think there should be more guys float serving. Hot take, more float servers, because everybody wants to spin. But if you're serving a 40-mile-an-hour spinner, that's a free ball. Why not take a page out of the women's game and say, hey, I can send this laser because I'm 6'10" and I'm sending a bullet at your chest instead of hitting a 40-mile-an-hour spinner that maybe will go in and out. There was a young man that we played several years ago that was like 33% error rate. And so I'm like, okay, maybe he aced 2, but this third one's out. Like, it doesn't matter. There's not going to be any run. There's not going to be any strings or kind of things like that. So I just think it's a thing of the past. It kills momentum. We don't have the arms in the gym to, give some props to Ohio State. That's just their MO. They send bombs across the net and they don't error a ton. So if I had a team like that everybody's sending 60, 70 mile an hour spins, maybe that changes in my whole strategy. But I'll quote one of my favorite coaches of all times, Pete Hansen. I miss him. He was one of the people I respected a ton, and I believe respected me a ton. And I remember him saying when they were in the national championship game of, there were something about float servers, and they're like, we don't practice that. Why do we need to do that when obviously we have Nick Serzin and Maxime Herbois and like guys like that in the gym? We're not going to practice float serves. We'll just get the ball back and serve you off the court. So that's a different strategy, different team. We'll defend. They can go serve bombs.
Just to do a quick follow up on serving, since Nikki, we have you here and we got a libero. Love to get your perspective on this. In the women's game, liberos are allowed to serve. Do you feel it's time in the men's game, liberos should be allowed to serve?
No.
All right.
No, keep that out of my game, please.
No. I also think it goes back to what I was saying about the float serving. Like, guess what? We have our middles are 6'7", 6'8", and 6'9", and if we have one spinner, two floaters, that's such a trajectory of a 6'9" guy learning how to hit a nice flat float serve. And it's prideful. He gets a dig. That's a momentum shift for the team. What did you say yesterday? We had a middle get us back from 24-19 on the float serve, made some
2
plays.
years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, unless you're like Loyola, where you have Jack Yentz, who's 6'7" and, you know, was a former outside, I think that's a little different, but no.
Yeah, my serve would go.
So our time's up. Thank you, Nikki and Francisco and Kevin, for joining us. We wish you the best of luck in the 2023 season. And
Thank you. We'll go Cinco sets for you though.
Yeah.
We never.
yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I will try not to. I'll try to make sure we go, you know, one of the two. One.
Yeah,
not
Nikki, if you can win stuff in 3, that's really easy that makes my life a lot easier. So
I'm all good with that. The Cinco sets, if it happens, it's only for you. It's only for you.
well, just do it when you're on the East Coast. No Cinco sets on the West Coast.
Okay, I can do that. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you
Hey, man.
guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.